Hey, church. We're back again this weekend with a sermon entitled, Why Wouldn't You Eat the Ribeye? Last week, we began to unpack the motto of the Reformation, which is in essentials, unity, in the non-essentials, liberty, but in all things, charity. And I wanted to talk to you about this coming week because we're going to talk about freedom. You know, there's no greater privilege in the Christian life than our freedom. If you asked why soldiers fought in things like the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War II, the Korean conflict, Vietnam, the Gulf War, I think their answer universally would be freedom. The motto of the Special Forces is Libera de Oppresso, meaning to liberate the oppressed. On a personal level, we love freedom, don't we? Ask a mountain climber, why did you climb the mountain? And they'll say, because you feel free. People parachute out of perfectly good airplanes. Why? Because they love the freedom of the free fall. Why do people ride motorcycles or ride bikes? They love the freedom of the open road. Why do sailors sail on rough and calm seas? Because there's a freedom that you feel. We do love our freedom, don't we? We love to train the discipline of training, but we love the freedom of taking a day off. We love our work, the expectations of work, but we love the freedom of the weekend. And then there's the rigor of learning in a school setting, and then there's the freedom of finishing the course, and the necessity of being in the hospital and the freedom of coming home. Paul himself was a slave to the law, a slave to the man-made law of the Pharisees, a slave to the expectations of others, a slave to the pressure to perform on himself. But Christ had set him free. He said, it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm there, therefore, and don't let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. Paul really wanted the believers to understand their freedom. But what happens when my freedom to do something collides with my love for you? Should I flaunt my freedom and therefore make you stumble in your walk? Or should I restrict my freedom because my love for you is greater than my freedom? This is the question Paul wants to get at in Romans 14, as he's trying to say that in the church there were different opinions about things. The two big issues there we're going to talk about were, one, the eating of meat. There were the carnivores and the vegetarians. Some were coming out of a Jewish background, and they didn't believe they had the freedom to eat the meat offered to the idols. Whereas the Gentiles said, good Lord, good meat, let's eat, like Zeke would say. So there was this controversy about the eating of meat. There's also a controversy about days, the Sabbath day versus the Sunday being the first day of the week, being the day to worship. So what Paul's going to do is he's going to help navigate this landscape where there is raging different opinions about things, and he's going to lay out at least 5 principles in the first 12 verses of chapter 14 of Romans. We're going to talk about acceptance. We're going to talk about being convinced of what you believe. We're going to talk about refusing to dictate to others, to let the Lord direct their lives. We're going to talk about believing the best about each other. And lastly, we're going to talk about never assume the position you are so unqualified to take, which is the judge, to be the judge of somebody else. We're going to unpack all of that. So I'd love you to read through Romans chapter 14. And for extra credit, you can read a little bit about freedom out of Galatians chapter 5. And we'll be together again this Sunday. Look forward to it. See you then.